This is just a short video. I sort of mentioned whenever I rebranded the channel that I wanted to incorporate more sort of a blending between model aircraft and aviation related subjects, and I think now is one of those days to cross over more to the aviation side of things. Today I just learned of the passing of former, retired Naval Captain Dale Snodgrass. Dale is probably the most recognisable name among the US Navy community, and anybody that knows anything about the F-14 Tomcat will know that he is the highest time rated pilot on the type, with over 4,800 hours flying time on the aircraft, and he was instrumental in a number of ways with the aeroplane to bring it up to the ultimate multi-role airplane that it became in the late 90s and into the 2000s, to make it combat ready for situations that we had in Afghanistan and Iraq. I never met Snort myself. However, I've been to an air show. I went to an air show in America, and I knew straight away who the pilot was, displaying the aeroplane. There's no doubt that it would have been Snort, because I've seen countless footage of F-14 demonstrations, and there's no display quite like a Snort display. He maximised every little bit out of that aeroplane and any other aeroplane that he's flown since. When he retired from the Navy, he flew P-51s, F-4U Corsairs, F-86 Sabres, Hellcats, you name it, anything that's had an association with the Navy, or even anything just that looks cool, he's flown it. Snort is clearly one of those legends in aviation that, whether you've met him or not, I think you know professionalism and excellence like no other. Names like Chuck Yeager, Scott Glenn, Neil Armstrong, these names in aviation history, you know as soon as you hear the name what that person was all about, whether you met them or not, whether you knew any of their traits, their whatever, it doesn't matter. As soon as you hear that name, you know excellent, and there's nobody else in the community that they work within that does what they do, and in the way that they do it. You walk into a room and you you get a sense of someone in that room, is either so good at what they do, they just ooze confidence with it. I would love to know how Dale Snodgrass did what he did, how he did it. What was it that sparked just that natural, jumps in an airplane and knows exactly how to get the maximum out of it within a very, very short space of time. Obviously we're not going to know now. To be able to have a really candid conversation with someone like that, to be able to understand how hard did they have to work to achieve what they did, or they're just so naturally good at it that no one could touch them in performance. But charting Snort's career is fairly simple, really. He was the F-14. He went to the Navy. His father, or some relation to him, or a very close relation, whether it was a father or a grandfather, were in the Marine Corps, and he didn't want to go down that route, or he considered it, and then went down the line of going naval aviation. And obviously went on to great things. He saw the F-14 grow right from the get-go, right out of Calverton when the aircraft was being developed. He saw that from a very young age, and I'm sure any kid at that point considering a career in naval aviation would have said, that's the aeroplane I want to fly. I got no doubt in my mind that any kid around at that time would have just locked eyes on that aeroplane and just said, that's my goal. I would have too, had I been around at that point, and fortunately I've had opportunities to be up close and personal with that aeroplane. There's no other aeroplane like it, and you can't help but get absorbed by it, and that's obviously what Snort saw in it, and saw the potential in it, and as a consequence he ended up doing great things with it, and the main thing being the integration of the lantern pod to be able to use precision munitions with it. And it just so happens that I have a model from the very squadron that he was with at the time during the development of that program, VF-103 Sluggers, which eventually was disbanded and became VF-103 Jolly Rogers when VF-84 was disbanded. So VF-103 was the squadron he was with at the time during the development and integration and study into whether or not the lantern pod could be integrated into the F-14 airframe. And obviously it worked. And it worked very, very well. And the F-14D model being the ultimate aeroplane that it should have been right from the get-go, right from the 1970s. At the time, funding always played the aeroplane. and I'm sure Snort had a really tough time saying to the people up top to say, hey, I need this equipment, I need XYZ equipment, and I need it now. And people up top say, well, sorry, we haven't got enough money for that right now. Oh, well, so you're going to tell that to the 22-year-old who's flying this, who's going to get shot at? Oh, maybe we'll think about that for a moment. Who knows, probably conversations like that. But Snort is a legend. There's no other word that's going to be able to describe him. He is a legend. I'm not going to say he was, because he is. Despite the fact he's now gone in an unfortunate accident, which I'm sure that's what it will turn out to be. It will just be an accident. There's few details at the moment, and the only details I've come across, I follow a guy called Ward Carroll on YouTube, who he pieced together a report or something that he found just yesterday, saying that it was an incident very shortly after takeoff, with a very high pitch up angle immediately after takeoff. That could be any number of things, and I'm not going to speculate what it could have been. That will be for when the accident report is released. I'm sure right now the F-14 community is grieving. It's very... There's few people that I relate to, mainly in this instance, and it purely is only because of my interest and connection with the F-14. A lot of people invested in me to get that first introduction to the F-14 back in 1992, and straight away you knew the significance of what the aeroplane was about, and the people behind it, people that operated it. I knew straight away what it was about. So to have someone like Snort involved in it, straight away, I read right from a young age. I've read the books on the F-14, or certainly looked at pictures, and I've since read articles about the book, and Snort is always there. Snort's name is always in the text. It wouldn't be the F-14 without him. And just with my chance encounters with the F-14, makes me realise how important Snort is to the aeroplane. So it's a hard one to try and wrap my head around at the moment, knowing that he's gone, and few people have that impact on me. They just don't. But for whatever reason, this guy has. I've never met the guy. Know little about him, his personal life. All I know is him and the F-14. He was the F-14. So rest in peace, Snort, and cleared for departure. Bye, Snort.